Guys, I hope you are doing great today. We are going to be doing a lovely project, and I am going to be using these placemats here. I have 6 of them, and I picked them up in a thrift store a while back, and I've been thinking about what I want to do with them, and there's so much I could do with them, but I'm going to do something that I think is going to be pretty cool. So stick with me, guys. Let's get started. What I'm going to do is I have 4 mats here on top of each other. I'm just gonna peel 2 of them back, and yeah, I may or may not use the sewing machine, but one thing for sure, I am going to be using my needle and thread, and I'm going to just start by doing a simple whip stitch with my needle and thread. But before we do that, let's get you guys closer so you can see what's actually going on here. Okay, so I've already threaded my needle, and I have put a knot on the end here. However, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start here, and I am going to put my needle through, and instead of pulling it all the way through, I'm going to take my loop here at the end, and I'm going to put it over my needle just to make sure that my knot doesn't come through the fabric, right? Because it's a pretty forgiving fabric when it comes to your knot coming through. Okay, and then I'm just going to whip stitch back and forth. Sorry, oh, here. Okay, there we go. Just back and forth, back and forth. Simple whip stitch. Now, my aim here on the channel is to show you simple projects that are easily attained to help you to make your home personal, right? Doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm doing the stitches fairly close together because I want a tight seam. Okay, so this is what I'm doing here. Yeah, there we go. So I'm basically putting my needle through, pulling my thread. So I'm going back and forth, over and back, over and back. Push my needle to the front, take it to the back. So since you know what I am doing here, I'm going to do it all the way to the end here. Look, I just pricked myself. This is where I should wear a thimble, I guess. I'll go ahead and speed this up so we can finish this part off and move on. Off on the inside. There we go. Then I am going to cut this with my scissors, and then I have to get another piece of thread. And how I knot my thread is I basically just roll it on my index finger. There we go, and it's knotted. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and I am gonna restart the thread from the inside. There we go. And then I am just gonna push it back out. Close this back. Pull my thread out. There we go. And keep stitching. And knot it off on the inside. Now I could do this by just stitching on the sewing machine, but because of the rustic nature of the mats, I decided I'm gonna go ahead and do a rustic stitch. Right, there we go. Now my next move is to open this and then take this and put on here, and then I'm gonna whip stitch also. So I will go ahead and speed it up. We have 3 panels together. I am going to take this one and I'm going to put it on this end, and we're going to go ahead and do our whip stitch on this end too. Can you guess what we're making? Okay, I think I'm going to take a seat. Go. Now let's start whip stitching. These rugs are pretty rustic. They're made from old clothes actually. They were made in India, 100% cotton, and so they're not all exact, but it's rustic, right? So we're just working with it. Now that I have attached 1, 2, 3, 4 panels together, what I'm going to do now is take these two together, the two ends, and I am going to whip stitch the ends together. So I'm going to go ahead and thread my needle, and since you know how I'm whip stitching, I'm just going to go ahead and speed it up to get it done. Okay, so now we have 4 panels together. I am going to go ahead and swing my needle, and then we're going to talk about what we're doing next. And this is basically to give you idea of how you can use like placemats like these, or even panels of fabric, panels of vinyl. When you see them in thrift stores, you can pick them up and get them to make something creative, something decorative, something functional. Okay, so now I am going to open my box. I essentially have a box now. So I'm going to open my box like this, and I am going to get another placemat, and I'm going to place this end here. I'm basically going to start slip stitching them together just like I did the other 4 panels. So I'm slip stitching across here, and then I'll go ahead and come up on the side here and on the side here, and then we'll talk about what we do next, right? So let's just, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to line it up down here, because I want to start from here so I can just go right around, right? So I want to make sure it's lined up evenly. I think I'm going to use a couple pins so it won't shift, right? And then I'm just going to come up on the side here. There we go. Here we go. There we go. And so I am going to start stitching right here. And we are continuing with our slip stitch. Put it through, and then I'm going to put the needle through here just to make sure my knot doesn't go through the fabric. And then we're just going to slip stitch the 2 pieces together, just like so. Okay, I'm going to take you a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. So there we go. We are just slip stitching the 2 together to close it in. And I'm not getting my tassels entangled in the slip stitch because I want them to be a part of the design when we're done here. But that's basically what we're doing here. slip stitching back and forth, back and forth. And I think you got the idea. So I am going to go ahead and I am going to speed it up so we can get through this. And as I said before, I'm going down, across, and up. Now that I have whip stitch around these three sides, I am gonna go, I could actually cut this piece off here, but I don't have to, and so I'm not going to cut it off. What I'm gonna do instead is fold it on the inside, just like so, and then I'm gonna whip stitch across here. Have my needle and my thread here already, so I am just gonna go ahead and start whip stitching. So just over here, and then I'm gonna do the same thing basically, back and forth to get it done. And I'm gonna go ahead and speed it up, time lapse it, right? See you on the other side. our next step is to go ahead and turn this baby around, and we are going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm gonna go ahead and pin this. What we're gonna do right now is we are gonna put some polyfill inside this baby. Yeah, there we go. That's what we're doing. Okay, so I used 6 placemats to do this, guys. I hope when you're done watching this project, you will look at placemats in the thrift store differently, because there's so much that you can do with them. I have a bunch of different pillows that I have made from placemats on the channel. You can check them out. And guess what? These placemats did not cost me more than $2. Just $2. And look what I did with them. Look what I did with them. Or should I say, look what we did with them. Because you were with me all this time. So thank you guys so much for sticking with me, for watching the video to the end. And thanks for subscribing, liking, and sharing. Thanks for your support on my channel. I appreciate you. Okay, so that's it. That is enough falling fill. And all we're going to do right now is tuck this end in, just like we did the other end. I mean, if you didn't want to stitch this baby, you didn't have to stitch this baby, right? You can always pull the flap back out if you need to do anything, right? Like washing it. Maybe that's what we should do. We should just leave it like this and not stitch it. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not going to stitch this off. I can always go back if I want to at a later date and whip stitch this off, but right now it's fine because there's such a long flap that's going back here, and there's a flap here also, and so we can actually use this part for the bottom. We can turn it like that and it's all done, right? I can go back and take the polyfill out if I want to, for example, wash this. I'm liking this number so much. If you guys like it, let me hear it. Let me see it with those thumbs up and share. My name is Valrine Vernon. Please subscribe to this channel and I will see you again soon.